A group of people accidentally get lost in the wondrous world of Overworld. Here, they admire the creatures made of amusing cubes. However, the group must try to survive against the square-headed zombies craving human flesh, the extremely brutal tribe of skeleton demons riding spider demons, and most terrifying of all, the witch Malgotia, leader of the piglin demons who wants to dominate the human world. Facing such powerful evil forces, what must the group do? Please check out the Minecraft movie that just hit theaters. Steve is a timid boy, always yearning to become a miner. However, this mine prohibits children. Furthermore, there's always a grumpy security guard here watching 24/7, who chases Steve away on sight. Time flies by. 25 years later, Steve is older and has a massive beer belly. His current job is promoting real estate using an in-zone music singing style. He looks like a weirdo, so all the clients are fed up. Nobody knows what the heck he's doing. This makes Steve sad, thinking he chose the wrong profession. After pondering dejectedly for a while, he looks at his lunch and carefully shapes mashed potatoes into a cave. This absent-minded action accidentally reminds him of his childhood dream, being a miner wearing a hat, holding a pickaxe. This time, he's no longer restricted by the age limit sign, but he's still stopped by the security guard, like meeting an old nemesis. The strange thing is, after several decades, he hasn't aged a bit, has he? Despite his massive belly, Steve nimbly slips past, dodges, and runs into the mine shaft. After that, he digs and digs with all his might, satisfying his passion. He finds a glowing crystal. Next, he digs and digs again, finding a large crystal block. Steve immediately combines the two strange objects. Suddenly, a portal opens, a passage to the overworld. In front of Steve is a pink sheep, but why is its body so blocky? Next, there's also a yellow bee with a similarly square body. It seems everything in this world is made from cubes. Although lost in a strange place, Steve adapts very quickly. He can build things he imagines with just a wave of his hand. First a house made of pink wool, next a house made of stone, finally a simple brick-walled house. This is truly the perfect world, just like in Steve's imagination. However, he's still not satisfied because he lacks a friend. Accidentally, he encounters a wolf growling in front of his house. Quick-witted, Steve immediately uses a bone to tame the wolf and names it Dennis. Very quickly, the two become so close you can't tell who's the owner and who's the dog anymore. With a pet companion, Steve starts building more unique structures. Finally, he creates a large park and names it Steve's World. After that, he calls a herd of pandas to come here to dance, sing, and celebrate the grand opening. Steve is very happy because here, no one mocks him for being a weirdo anymore. One day, while strolling around, Steve accidentally discovers strange ruins missing a square block. Coincidentally, next to it is a chest containing exactly that square block, making Steve very curious. He immediately fits it into the ruins, and suddenly a portal opens. Going through to the other side, Steve gets lost in another world called the Nether. This is the dwelling place of the piglin demons with their endless greed for gold. The ruler of this place is the evil witch Malgotia. Seeing Steve's potbelly, she wonders, "Why are you strangely round?" "Because I drank too many barley smoothies." "Where is that stuff?" "On Earth." "Then how did you get here?" Steve innocently replies, "It's thanks to this cube crystal block right here." Seeing this, the witch immediately orders the piglin demons to capture Steve and his wolf friend and lock them in the dungeon to seize the cube. With it in her hands, she can go to the overworld, plunder all its resources, and turn it into a piglin colony. Learning of this plan, Steve cannot let the overworld be destroyed, because it's the most beautiful place he's ever imagined. So, while the jailer isn't paying attention, Steve has Dennis steal the key and both escape, retrieving the cube. They intend to flee, but the piglins have discovered them. Knowing they can't escape by running, Steve rubs the cube against himself to let it absorb his armpit odor. He gives it to Dennis, telling him to follow the armpit odor, run straight back to his house on Earth, and hide the cube under the bed. Finally, Steve is recaptured by the piglins. The cube and the Earth crystal separate, so the portal disappears, leaving Dennis stranded on Earth. Time passes just like that. Many years later, no one knows about the existence of the overworld anymore. Now, let's talk about another character named Garrett Garrison. He has a strapping physique, with bulging muscles thanks to a finger and wrist muscle training regimen. Also thanks to this diligent training, he won an arcade game competition and became the champion in 1980. However, those golden days are in the past. Currently, he's just the owner of a deserted video game store, without a single customer. While making breakfast, a postal worker appears and gives him a notice. Due to unpaid taxes for a long time, the store will be confiscated. With no other options, Garrett seeks out his friend who specializes in organizing auctions for abandoned container goods. This is a risky investment. If you get good stuff, you profit. Otherwise, you lose big time. Leveraging their friendly relationship, Garrett asks his friend if there are any good deals. He replies yes, because the list mentions a 1978 Atari Cosmos handheld game console here. If it's here, it's truly a great deal. So, Garrett begs his friend to sell him that container for $140. Flipping it would surely earn 10 times the amount. In return, Garrett will take his friend to see pole dancers. However, many other people also want to buy this container. Eventually, the auction exceeds his investment limit. With no choice left, Garrett raises the bid to $900, determined to get the container at all costs. After buying it, he whispers to his friend that the money is coming, but it will take a few months to withdraw. He thought this container would bring some profit, even if not much. Who would have guessed? Inside there's no game console, just a bunch of junk and a worthless crystal cube. It's over. This venture is a total loss. Where the heck am I going to find money to save the store now? The more he thinks, the bleaker his life seems. He speeds off in his car. Unexpectedly, the car breaks down in the middle of the road. Talk about rotten luck. At this time, siblings Natalie and Henry move to live in the town of Idaho. Since all their relatives have passed away, the two siblings rely on each other. Natalie chose this town to live in because the rent here is cheaper than elsewhere. Moreover, it's also easy to find work here. With their meager savings, they managed to rent a decent house with 2 spacious bedrooms. All thanks to a realtor named Dawn. She is also an old acquaintance of the siblings' mother, so there's no need for formalities. Before leaving, Dawn kindly offers condolences about their mother's recent passing. Because it's Henry's first day at the new school, Natalie made her brother a potato pizza. In the past, their mother often cooked this dish for them. Natalie suggests her brother take the pizza to share with friends. This gesture will help him make friends more easily in the unfamiliar environment. On the way to school, Henry is attracted by an eye-catching game store. The boy shows interest in electronics. Seeing this, Garrett boasts that he's the famous owner here and beloved by the whole town. However, Henry doesn't know this, as he just moved here. His purpose is just to greet the neighbor and offer potato pizza to get acquainted. Hearing this, Garrett advises the boy, if you want to succeed and make many new friends, join his Gaming God course, $50 an hour. But Henry refuses, afraid of being late for school. Meeting the new student for the first time, the principal openly reveals that she just divorced her husband. One would think this would leave her devastated, but no. Suddenly, she feels kind of happy, excited. In the very first class, the frizzy-haired teacher asks students to draw realistically from a model. While other students try to draw realistically, Henry draws in an astronaut science style. This makes the frizzy-haired teacher a bit annoyed. He says just drawing the model is enough, no creativity needed. Also because of this banana jet drawing, Henry gets mocked by his classmates. So, the boy builds his own jet engine using lab equipment from the school. Just as he's about to finish, some mean classmates cut the wires. After Henry activates it, the rocket flies out of control, crashes into the potato factory, and its logo falls into the lake. Luckily, Natalie and the other employees working there are unaffected. Afraid of being implicated, the frizzy-haired guy runs off first. The incident is serious. The principal immediately summons Henry to her office. She demands to speak with his guardian. But Henry doesn't dare call his sister, afraid of getting disciplined. With no choice, the boy calls Garrett to pretend to be his parent. Initially, Garrett refuses because he's busy swatting flies, but hearing Henry offer $20, Garrett immediately speeds to the school. Seeing the handsome man, the principal lets Henry off the hook to focus on flirting with Garrett. However, his taste isn't quite that peculiar. Back at the game store, Henry says his rocket crashed into the potato factory, so he's afraid if it's revealed, his sister will get fired. Blaming himself for being mischievous, he throws his notebook into the trash, giving up his passion for creativity. After that, Henry looks around for something entertaining. Accidentally, he discovers the strange cube, so he curiously asks, "What's this, mister?" Garrett doesn't know what it is either, so he displays it here. The two find an instruction sheet. On it, large letters warn, absolutely do not combine the earth crystal and the cube. However, this prohibition only makes them more curious. Therefore, Henry decides to fit the cube into the earth crystal. As a result, the strange object vibrates intensely, as if wanting to guide the two to a place. That place is the abandoned mine shaft. Going deep inside, they both see a shimmering portal of blue light. At the same time, Natalie gets off work and returns home, but doesn't see Henry anywhere. Using a tracking app, Natalie and Dawn locate the younger brother at the mine shaft. Immediately, The two rush there, startling Henry. None of them know that the wolf Dennis is watching from outside. Suddenly, the cube shoots a beam of energy towards the portal with an extremely strong suction force. Everyone quickly grabs the boy, but in the end, all four are sucked through the portal into the overworld. What meets their eyes is a wondrous world where everything is square-shaped. At this point, Garrett introduces himself to the two women as the famous gamer of the 80s. Suddenly, the pink sheep appears like a mythical beast, making the group curious and run over to ask it questions. Although Garrett tries his best to demonstrate his bilingual skills, human and animal, the sheep understands nothing. While no one is paying attention, an overworld villager sees the portal and curiously goes through to Earth. Seeing the overworld resident, the little wolf knows the portal has opened, so it runs into the mine shaft. Meanwhile, in the Nether, the piglin demons go crazy attacking each other. Because they can't find any gold after searching endlessly, they become frustrated. This sends the witch into a thundering rage. She threatens her people that if they don't work hard, they'll be banished to the overworld to become zombies. Yet, this guy still doesn't bother working, instead just sits doodling. So Malgosia skewers him with one stab, turning him into fragrant roasted meat. Seeing this, everyone is terrified. Just then, the witch senses the energy of the cube, meaning the portal has reopened. So, she goes down to the dungeon to see Steve. Then, she takes out Dennis's collar to threaten him. The fat guy must retrieve the cube for her. If he doesn't comply, Malgosia will turn Dennis into roasted wolf for the piglins. That evening, when the square moon rises high, the animals suddenly flee, leaving the four humans confused. The surrounding atmosphere becomes silent, eerie. Garrett reassures the group. With me here, there's nothing to fear. Suddenly, a volley of flaming arrows shoots towards them. Is the appearance of the extremely ferocious tribe of skeleton demons riding spider demons. Panicked, the group flees for their lives. Because he was running while looking back, Henry accidentally bumps into a tree trunk. Thanks to this, he discovers a core inside and understands how this world works. So, the boy immediately builds a sturdy fortress around the two women, protecting them from the skeleton demons. Garrett, on his end, thought he was being heroic, but turns out he also ran like crazy and accidentally fell into a pit. Immediately, he uses a shovel to break the rock and crawls into a tunnel to escape. Just as he emerges onto the surface, he encounters a creeper. Mistaking it for a skeleton, he hits it. Unexpectedly, it recoils in pain and then explodes with a boom. This noise also attracts the attention of the skeleton demons. Seeing him, Henry shouts, "Quick, run over here." At this moment, a large number of zombies appear out of nowhere. Up here, the three are also suddenly attacked by zombies. Carelessly, Garrett gets hit by a skeleton arrow, shattering the earth crystal on the outside. The portal, therefore, closes completely. The hordes of skeleton demons and zombies keep coming, growing larger. Henry quickly breaks open the wall, pulls Garrett inside. Suddenly, a creeper rushes forward and explodes, clearing a path for the zombies to swarm onto the fortress. In this dire moment, Steve suddenly appears like a thunder god, deftly wielding a hammer, fighting the zombies alone. Using his chubby advantage, he easily crushes one, then rips off a zombie's arm, followed by a kick sending the opponent flying dozens of meters. Finally, he unleashes the divine armpit yank move, causing the sky to brighten, much to the astonishment of the four people. Unable to withstand the daylight, the zombies are immediately burned. Next, he yanks his armpit again, blowing the zombies away into dust. After the storm passes, the fat guy introduces himself as Steve. His purpose in finding them is to retrieve the cube. However, Steve notices the Earth crystal is broken. Without it, you all can't open the portal back to Earth. The only way is to find another Earth crystal to replace it. But currently, it's located in a very dangerous place called the Woodland Mansion. Therefore, Steve proposes a deal. He will help the four of them find a new Earth crystal to open the portal back to Earth. After succeeding, they must hand the cube over to him. Finding it fair, Garrett steps up on behalf of the group, shakes hands, and seals the deal with the fat guy. To prepare for the adventure to find the new Earth crystal, they first need to go to Midport Village to get more weapons. Upon arrival, everyone is astonished to see very large golem robots. Steve explains they are security personnel. As long as we don't harm the villagers, the golems won't attack. All residents here are peace-loving vegetarians, which is why their hands are always clasped in front of their chests. After talking for a while, the group gets hungry. So, Steve leads everyone to a roasted chicken shop. Just flip the lever, and delicious lava-roasted chicken will immediately come out of the oven. However, it's very hot. You have to wait a few hours before eating it. While waiting, Dawn and Natalie go find villagers to ask them to draw a map of this world. The others go into Steve's item storage, a magical space full of useful tools: long nether sword, diamond armor, Hermes boots, Chinese fireworks, TNT explosives. Here, Garrett also finds an ender pearl, a wondrous item that allows you to teleport wherever you throw it. But Garrett doesn't believe it, so he tries it out and gets a shocking result. After that, Steve shows the two how to craft weapons using different materials. First, arrange them on the template, then hit it once with a hammer. And that's it, done. With his rich creativity, Henry crafts a speaker gun that can shoot extremely powerful sound waves. Finding it cool, Garrett also tries it once. Unexpectedly, the weapon he creates turns out to be 2 iron buckets, only useful for drawing well water. Extremely disappointed, Garrett pulls Steve aside to talk. He frankly says he read the note with the cube, so he wants to ask Steve about the rumored treasure here. The fat guy doesn't hide anything, honestly replying that he has a diamond stashed deep in a mine. To get there, one must go through a perilous journey. But Garrett isn't afraid, because hearing about treasure makes his eyes light up. The reason is, he desperately needs money to save his game store. So, Garrett adds a clause to the deal, forcing Steve to lead him to the treasure. If refused, he won't return the cube. At this point, Steve has no choice but to accept. In the nether, Malgosia is getting impatient, losing her cool, because Steve hasn't returned with the cube after waiting so long. So, she summons the mightiest general of the Piglin army, named Chungus. Before setting off, the witch gives Chungus a type of holy water. It helps the general and his subordinates avoid turning into zombies upon reaching the overworld. Immediately after, the Piglins fly to Midport Village in hot air balloons. Wherever the Piglins go, they smash and destroy, like street thugs. Seeing Steve, General Chungus says he's just following Malgosia's orders. Out of respect for their past friendship while Steve was imprisoned, if he just hands over the cube, the general will spare everyone's lives. But Steve isn't intimidated. Suddenly, Garrett butts into the fight between Chungus and Steve. He wants to show off as an unparalleled master, with the best martial arts in the world. After just a few flashy moves, he hits the fat guy, knocking him unconscious. Seizing the opportunity, the general rushes forward, punches Garrett in the face, and adds a kick to his but to teach him a lesson for showing off. Gaining the upper hand, the Piglins aggressively charge forward. At this point, the two women have no choice but to use farming tools to fight the Piglin demons. Just by flailing around unconsciously, they manage to take down a few Piglins. On his side, Henry's gun also proves effective. Steve, now, regains consciousness. While Garrett is in danger, a golem unexpectedly appears and slugs the general. Seeing this, the hot air balloons immediately spit down fireballs. This forces the two women to be separated from the other three. Steve quickly leads them up the high city wall to escape, but unexpectedly, ahead lies an abyss, while behind them, the Piglins are relentlessly pursuing. Steve then equips the two with metal wings that can fly. Since there are only 2 pairs of wings, Steve has to ride on Garrett, grabbing his hair to steer. This fat guy thinks they've escaped, but unexpectedly, the hot air balloons stick to them like leeches. On the cliffside, there's also a cavalry troop running alongside for support. Luckily, Steve has a knack for piloting old planes, so he easily dodges the enemy's attacks. Seeing the cavalry setting up an inescapable net, Garrett and Steve perform a maneuver, clamping together and flying through a small gap in the cliff face. Thus, they spectacularly succeed in escaping the enemy's pursuit. Henry, unfortunately, has a piglin clinging to his leg. Just as he gets rid of it, he loses control and crashes into the 2 older guys. So, all 3 end up clinging together screaming. Luckily, they fall into a pool of water, so they are safe and sound. At this point, Steve tells them about the witch Malgosia, queen of the Piglins. In her youth, she participated in the Nether Got Talent competition with her special talent for belly dancing. However, her fluid movements didn't fit the rigid Piglin traditions, so she was mocked by the audience. Her father was also ashamed and threw her out. Since then, Malgosia decided to abandon beauty and creativity forever. Now, if she gets the cube, she will destroy the overworld and all life here. Dawn and Natalie, lacking a map, wander through the forest searching for the younger brother. After the battle with the Piglins, their martial arts skills have improved dramatically, so they no longer fear zombies or skeleton demons. Suddenly, Dennis runs out from nowhere. Quick-witted, Dawn gives it a bone. Thanks to this, the wolf instantly becomes a beloved puppy. Accidentally, Dawn sees the collar, realizes this wolf belongs to Steve, and knows that just by following it, they will surely find the others. Meanwhile, Malgosia is furious about General Chungus's failure. Having lost patience, she unleashes her ultimate weapon, Pig King Kong, a massive, extremely ferocious beast, which upon appearing, kills General Chungus, turning him into a piece of meat. At this time, on Earth, the square person is wandering around and unfortunately gets hit by the principal's car. Afraid of criminal prosecution by the police, she apologizes to the victim and invites the square man to dinner. Seeing her sincerity, the square man agrees. However, upon reaching the restaurant, the square man only knows how to frown, which greatly amuses the principal. She mentions she just divorced her husband, so she really wants to find a boyfriend to fill the loneliness. Meanwhile, Steve has led the two to the mine where the fat guy hides his precious diamonds. Garrett, being too eager, accidentally steps on a trap. As a result, he gets bombarded with fruit, and thanks to this, pushes a lever opening the secret chamber door. Inside, there are many wooden chests containing extremely valuable diamonds. However, before they can grab anything, they smell something foul. Oh my god, that's Pig King Kong. Run! The three immediately jump into a minecart and speed off. After a short distance, unfortunately, the redstone powering the rail runs out. The minecart stops right in front of a creeper den. This species explodes upon the slightest touch. And behind them, Pig King Kong is aggressively pursuing. With no choice, Garrett has to push the cart towards the redstone ahead. While moving, Henry touches the creepers to make them explode, hindering the King Kong. As for the three, as soon as they reach the redstone, they dash outside, escaping the mine safely. Finally, they reach the woodland mansion, where the earth crystal is kept. According to Steve, this mansion has 3 levels. The first floor is guarded by Vindicator executioners, trained for combat. They are very tough and highly disciplined. The second floor is controlled by evokers. They are dark magic sorcerers, sinister, extremely powerful, and evil. The top floor is where the earth crystal is kept, but it's guarded by an enderman. If you face that entity, don't look into its eyes, because it will burn your brain. After making a plan, Garrett and Steve disguise themselves as minstrels to distract the Vindicators, creating an opportunity for Henry to sneak upstairs. Although their plan seems flawless, they are eventually discovered. So, Garrett and Steve are captured and thrown into a WWE wrestling ring. As for Henry, he has to run like mad to reach the top floor. However, this place has many chests containing rare items, so for the moment, he can't find where the earth crystal is. At this point, he can only search through each one, relying on luck. Meanwhile, Garrett is facing an incredibly heavyweight opponent, a chicken. He thought this match was a sure win, but unexpectedly, a baby zombie appears riding the chicken. Despite their small size, the chicken and baby zombie are extremely agile and aggressive. In just a few seconds, Garrett takes a beating, getting lumps on his head. He's supposed to be Aquaman, but why is he so weak? With no other way, Steve manages to untie himself and rushes forward, headbutting the zombie, sending it flying. Up here, Henry has also found the earth crystal in a wooden box. Suddenly, the Enderman appears, using its gaze to hypnotize the boy. He sees visions of others criticizing him one by one, calling him useless, saying he'll never become useful to society. Hearing this, Henry refuses to accept it and snaps out of it. He immediately uses an ice axe to slash repeatedly at the Enderman. Finally, he receives a teleportation pearl upon defeating the Enderman. After that, he runs over here, breaks the floor tiles, and falls down to reunite with the 2 older guys. Immediately, the 3 of them run quickly outside together. Unexpectedly, the witch and the piglins are already waiting here, telling Steve to surrender. However, he is very resilient, refusing to submit. Malgosia just raises her staff, absorbs the earth crystal, and leaves. The piglins stay behind to execute the 3. They bring TNT explosives and pile them onto the bridge. Seeing this, Garrett throws Henry onto a hot air balloon. Steve also follows, jumping after him. As for Garrett, he decides to stay behind, trying to hold back the piglins to give the other 2 time to escape. Immediately after, the bridge explodes. The aftershock creates an extremely strong shockwave. When they wake up, Steve has reunited with Dennis, and Henry is also safe. The reunion is all thanks to the wolf's keen sense of smell. The witch, after obtaining the cube and the earth crystal, uses them to transform the overworld environment. Thanks to this, the piglins can cross over here without turning into zombies. As darkness covers the sky, all evil creatures begin to swarm out. Facing the threat of the overworld's destruction, the 4 decide they must stop Malgosia and avenge Garrett. First, they mine resources to craft stronger weapons. Henry is in charge of redesigning the golems, giving them metal bodies 10 times stronger than before. He also upgrades the super speed boots to be fire resistant. Dawn also cleverly uses dog bones to tame a pack of wolves to their side. Finally, the four have an army of golems strong enough to confront the piglin race. Malgosia sees this and sneers. She says this golem army won't fight unless provoked. Unexpectedly, right after she finishes speaking, this pig-brained idiot casually shoots an arrow. Thus, all the golems become enraged and start attacking the piglins. The two sisters also take the opportunity to charge forward and eliminate enemies. In just a moment, Malgosia's vanguard army is utterly crushed. Seeing this, the witch immediately unleashes Pig King Kong into the battle. On their side, Dawn immediately summons the wolf pack to engage Pig King Kong. While she has no guards left, Steve equips a full set of diamond armor and confronts Malgosia alone. He thought he looked cool, but unexpectedly, his jump lacks force and his armor gets shattered. Luckily, he manages to dodge the fatal blow in time. During the chaos, Henry uses a teleportation pearl to get up to the portal structure and retrieve the cube. However, Pig King Kong spots him and shoots an energy ball. The explosion makes Henry fall from high up. Just when everyone feels helpless, Garrett unexpectedly flies in on a hot air balloon and successfully saves Henry. Turns out, the long-haired guy isn't dead after all. Thanks to this, Henry is free to take a spear and poke the hot air balloon, causing it to fire relentlessly at the portal structure, shattering it completely. The cube, consequently, falls down. The overworld environment immediately returns to normal. Under the effect of the light, all the piglins instantly turn into zombies. Pig King Kong is also sent flying into the air by the golem captain. Next, it delivers a skull-crushing blow. King Kong dies on the spot. On his side, Steve has also defeated Malgosia. It's over, you've lost. Hearing this, Malgosia pretends to talk while trying to sneak attack Steve. However, each time, he sees through her trick and blocks it. Although she is very evil, he doesn't finish her off, but lets her die of humiliation. After peace returns to the overworld, everyone also returns to Earth. Some time later, things have changed. Natalie now runs her own self-defense martial arts school. Dawn also brings Dennis all the way here for children to admire. Henry continues to pursue his passion for inventing and finally completes his jet engine, to the admiration of his friends. Garrett's game store is now also very crowded thanks to the game Minecraft. Whenever he's free, he sings duets with Steve to relieve stress. The movie ends here. What do you guys think about this movie? Please leave a comment below. See you again in the latest videos.